Preview time, Daggy and Barney with you to get through the footy and frothies preview. Magic rounds in the rearview mirror. We're now on to round 11 of the National Rugby League. Everyone back to their own home states and grounds and doing their best again. We kick off. Anything we got to talk about here? Yeah, I don't know.
Well, Origin's only a couple of weeks away, so
We'll probably go with some teams next week. Hey, there you go.
yeah,
Well, they're named next Sunday, aren't they?
they should
Sunday
be
night.
next
Sunday
Sunday
week.
night. Yeah, Sunday week.
It'll be next Sunday because Sunday week. All right,
Yeah,
well,
Sunday
at some
week.
point.
But you're really going to need to be looking at obviously injuries, and that'll play a big part coming into Origin time. And big one for your super coach with your 13 players that you need to find come round 13. But,
Is there anyone that's caught your eye?
Buller, if you didn't get him last week, I think he made 80K last week. I brought him in last week. He's definitely someone who he's not a lazy fullback either. So generally his lowest score is going to be around the 30 or 40 mark. So there's some money left in him for the next 3 or 4 weeks coming into Origin time. Go back and do a little bit of your own research, but I know Parramatta play all the big bye rounds. Manly and Newcastle play the first 2 coming up. So if you're looking for numbers to cover both rounds 13 and 15, which are the big, or is it 16? The big bye rounds anyway around Origin time. Parramatta, Newcastle, and Manly are probably some of the teams that you're looking at. People that aren't going to be picked for Origin selection, but they should be available for your side come the big bye rounds.
Yeah, I'm going to give some thought to getting Torhu back. He's still under 600. Might be worth it.
I'm pretty sure the Warriors play the first one in round 13.
They do. Yeah. They're 13-19. I'm good for 16. The rest, but 13's not pretty right now. But anyway.
And he's been in tremendous form since he come back from his injury. I think he had a bit of a slow game the first one he came back, but he's right back at the top of his game at the moment. It's definitely one to look at.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd wanted to get through and see his legs stay attached, and they have. So going to give thought to him and maybe even Wade Egan, but he's.
I was going to say someone like Wade Egan, Josh Curran, may even be someone who's been playing pretty well recently as well in that Warriors team. In Newcastle, maybe someone like the likes of Mazu, who should score a few tries here and there for that Newcastle side. Fitzgibbon's been in career best form this year. Another one you could probably look at for that Newcastle side. And Manly, depends on what team Manly trot out.
Well, they just throw points at Garrick, so he must be involved.
Yeah.
Give him away. It's like, what do we really say about Supercoach at the moment? Do you people are you're trying to fine tune your teams? I think they have good points you've raised. I think if you're looking for someone who's maybe coming back long term, we're just saying off air, David Nofaluma has put 2 back to back. He turned up on the weekend. You still get him around that borderline 500. And the Tigers, apart from a couple of playing Souths this week and a bit later on, have a pretty good draw for the rest of the year. So if he keeps that up, we know he's a try scorer. We know he's a tackle breaker. So someone I might give some thought to there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe bring him in for a Warbrick or someone with juice there. But anyway, PCTC time just from this week. We've got, Maz and Action both tipped 6 for the round, so well done to them.
Mm-hmm.
Maz fell off a cliff, missing the last 2. She was on for the perfect round until the last
really?
2. Until I got home from the pub and it all fell apart. But not the first time that's happened in her life. In the comp itself, Gandalf's on 52 points, equal now with J-Dog, who's leading our comp as well. So well done to him. If we scroll all the way down to the bottom of that comp, in 76th position, you'll find Dagster, 77th position, Barnabas, and 79th position. Holding up the entire ladder is Ollie on 37 points. Not much more to add there, is there?
I don't think I've ever tipped this badly in my life, to be honest. But it's a gut feel thing at the moment because realistically, there's probably only 3 or 4 games that you can bank on every round, and the rest of it comes into your opinion. And their opinions obviously aren't that great at the moment.
No, they are not.
So, at least I'll give you a reason why I think they're going to win, even if it's wrong.
That's all we can do. Let's get into those reasons because, let's find something out of this wreckage. We kick off at Amy Park with the Storm hosting the Broncos. Cracking game to start the round for the Storm. We've got, I've just lost my list here. They've named the same team. they're unchanged. For the Broncos, same as well. I'm just double checking all that. Yeah, all looks in order there. Kurt Capel is being monitored for his head knock, and Kamakamika is on the extended bench after being suspended, so he could come into the squad if he's up to scratch. Tricky way to start the round on the bounce back here at home. The Storm, can you tip them?
I am going to tip them. To mine, they're a much better team down in Melbourne. They didn't play anywhere near their best. They'd be embarrassed in what they put in last week. They would have wanted to at least be competitive with that side. And while the scoreboard said that they were partway competitive, they were realistically nowhere near competitive against the Souths, who at the moment are flying the flag as close to the best team in the comp. So I would expect a much improved performance out of the guys in the spine, your 6, 7, 1 and 9. The big question mark, obviously, is the middle of the field. Brisbane could absolutely steamroll through the middle of this Melbourne pack and set up a comfortable victory. But on I do expect Kamakamika to come back into this side. Nelson and Sofa Solomona can only be better from the run last week, and I think they'll be able to at least hold their own and hopefully be able to score some points out wide and down in Melbourne. And I'm going to tip them 1-12. If that's going to happen, it has to be Munster man of the match, and I'm going to go with Justin Olam, first try scorer.
Quite wet down there, I believe, at the moment as well. Does that come into your thinking at all?
It probably makes the outside backs from Brisbane a little less productive than what they are in the dry. And Melbourne's probably got a few bigger bodies in the outside backs that may be able to just sort of pressure and push over the top of the outside backs. Broncos.
Melbourne don't tend to lose 2 in a row too often, but I'm going to stick with, except last year when they did, they lost a whole bunch. Brisbane, I'm going to tip Brisbane on top. I liked what I saw last week. I've liked what I've seen all bar one game this year. I think their size up front is going to, they'll handle Nelson no problem. And the rest of them, they're along for the ride, I suppose. And it's going to lead to as it has all year, lead to their outside backs found to put in a show against some of these guys who haven't been necessarily at their best. I'm going to go 1-12 Brisbane. Probably not in too much doubt. Man of the match, Carrigan again backing up, but realistically it'll probably be him or Haas. First try scorer, Selwyn Cobbo, found a bit of touch. He'll do it again. Did you give your thoughts on that?
Yeah, had Munster and Olam.
Of course, that's right.
Olam may just push over somebody. And if Melbourne had a win, Munster will be the winner.
Friday kicks off 6 o'clock with the Bulldogs hosting the Warriors at a core. They welcome back the Fox. He's named at the moment in his 17, which couldn't come quick enough for them. Declan Casey goes out. Harrison Edwards comes back onto the bench for Sam Hughes. For the Warriors, Jackson Ford and Casey are both named, but are just being monitored. Kyron goes onto the bench. Rocco Berry into the centres, and Montoya onto the wing. Volkman into the team, Dylan Walker onto the bench. Starting to get some troops back here. The Warriors, look, they matched up to Penrith fairly well. I think the physicality here is it's gonna be a highlight of this game because we know King and Pangay Jr. aren't gonna take a backward step, but we know how thin they are in middle forwards, and the Warriors have some of the best middle forwards in the comp. That's going to count over 80 minutes. I'd like to see some attacking flair, which I guess is why Volkman comes on, but Walker off the bench might add that in and around those half times. I'm tempted to go 13 plus here. I'm going to go 1-12, but probably a comfortable one to the Warriors. First try scorer, Dallin out wide there, and man of the match, Tohu back to his best again. What are you thinking?
Yeah, very nice. I'm with you with the forwards. I just think, especially when the rotations come in, we know how thin the Dogs are at the moment in the middle of the field, and this is one of the better packs in the comp. So I expect them to be well in front, and then the bench rotation probably even throws them even further in front. Sean Johnson's been playing close to his career best footy after 15 years of playing in NRL, and I'm going to have him as man of the match. So I think generally most of the attacking flair does come off the back of him. Volkman is an interesting one that provides another kicking option, and he does have a pretty good short kicking game and a short passing game as well. So that could obviously add a few more points of attack to this Warriors team, which leads me to think it could be could be 13 plus as well. I just think the Dogs have been pretty spirited lately, and uh, you bring back Josh Adokar, there's probably a try in him, maybe two with a trick play or something with Burton. So might just keep it that little bit closer. I'm going to go with Cossey on the other side of the field to Dallin and have Warriors 1-12. Sean Johnson, man of the match, and Cossey.
To the main event. Should be a cracker. We're back at Bluebet Stadium, but two teams coughing and spluttering their way through the comp. Penrith probably left, so Penrith probably starting to blow out some of those cobwebs, but they've named an unchanged team. Liam Martin is looming, so on the extended bench here, maybe back in. We've got Egan Butcher out with his HIA, so Guzzi Crichton into the starting lineup, Fletcher Baker onto the bench. And the usual suspects on the extended bench here, Turpin and Walker may come into that team. I can't tip the Roosters. I'm scared of the Roosters because they've got to come good at some point, but I can't tip them off what they showed last week. I think Penrith are starting to get towards their best, or at least a version of what used to be their best, and they'll play well enough here at home to beat the Roosters. I'm going to go 1-12 again. I'm going too far out on a limb here. Dylan Edwards, absolutely outstanding, and may well have the headlines Saturday morning reading about how he outplayed the New South Wales fullback. Man of the match for him, and I'm going to say first try scorer. I'm going to go Scott Sorensen starting here. Bit of footwork and getting over around the 6th or 7th minute mark quite early on, I reckon. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going Panthers 1-12 as well. I am definitely frightened of the Roosters. If anything, same with the Melbourne team, to be honest. A team that knows that they should be better than what they're putting in at the moment. Embarrassed last week at Magic Round, and if there's ever going to be a bounce back factor, it'll be in this game. But I just think Penrith have a little bit more skill and pace out wide than what the Roosters can provide at the moment. There's been a few of those guys out wide for the Roosters that seem to have a decent game and then go missing for two. So whereas Penrith are fairly consistent, while they haven't been anywhere near their best, they've still at least put in an average to good performance from the majority of their team week in and week out, which leads me to pick them 1-12. I think they've got a fraction bit more skill on the edges of the field, and Cleary will be the one to unlock that and open them up with some nice short passing and some kicks in behind to turn the Roosters around. I'm going to get Brian Totto first try.
We head to Accor Stadium, 3:00 Saturday afternoon game for the Bunnies against the Tigers. They welcome back. We've got here Bunnies as per program last week, and the Tigers are the same. Plus John Bateman, who was ruled out during warm-ups, coming back into that side. Kapoa goes back to the bench. Seyfarth back to 18th man. It is Doomben 10,000 Day Saturday. You can, of course, get my thoughts on all of that. Show us your tips on Spotify and YouTube, progretracing.com.au, as I feel for Barney at the fridge. But I'm hoping I'm not flicking over the Doomben 10,000 and this won't be too harsh a beating that the Bunnies are going to dole out here. I'm going to go 13 plus, but I think it ticks over later. I hope the Tigers put up some fight and match them through the middle for a good chunk of this game. Latrell and Cody absolutely on fire. They'll do the same here as they have done for the last few weeks. Latrell Mitchell, 2 try assists and 2 tries, I'm predicting this week. Man of the match, first try scorer, Alex Johnson out wide.
Yeah, I've got some concerns for the Tigers around this one. I'm not sure they've got enough in their defensive line to contain this Souths outfit. There's just too many points of attack for mine, and if they don't, it may take them 20 minutes, half an hour to find the points to really start pressing those buttons of the Tigers. But I think by the end of this one, they'll be wreaking havoc on the Tigers at the back end of this game. I've got Souths 13 plus. I'm going to go with Walker, man of the match again. He's been in everything that they've done recently, and his ball playing has been fantastic. So I dare see him chucking in 2 or 3 try assists in this, and maybe grabbing one for himself for a man of the match performance. And I think they were pretty reluctant to go right last week, so I think they may just open up on the right hand side this time, and we can go back to Campbell Graham for the first try scorer. I do think that the Tigers will put in a decent performance for themselves, and but I think it'll break open late in this game, and the Souths will just have too much for them.
Beauty. Country Bank Stadium hosts the 5:30 game where Todd Payton's named an unchanged 17 with the Cowboys hosting the Dragons. And we have all the same for the Dragons as well, with Hunt starting at halfback, but we expect will slot into the 9 there. Look, I don't know whether to trust him yet, but I'm going to say going home off the back of a win, surely that's a springboard for the
It's
Cowboys.
the Dragons. Yeah.
And they're playing the Dragons. They can put the Dragons down into well and truly into wooden spoon territory here. I'm going to say Cowboys. I'm actually thinking maybe 13 plus. The more I think about this, this could open up late again, and heads could start dropping if they concede some points, quick points, or a succession of points quickly, I should say. Drinkwater will be involved with many of them points. Can give him man of the match and first try scorer. Yeah, those edges, hey. I'm going to go with Tuolangi.
Yep, I don't blame you. That's been their most lethal combination for the entirety of this year. Even when they weren't playing well, it was Holmes and Tuolangi that were realistically their only points of attack, apart from Drinkwater linking up with somebody on the opposite side of the field. I'm going to go Dearden, man of the match. I think his running game through the middle of the field will be enough to get in and around a few of these lazy forwards that you see from the Dragons every now and then, especially back through the middle, and have him man of the match. I was tossing up between 1 to 12 and 13 plus as well, but more that you think about it, the more you've seen the Dragons just open up and drop their head, especially towards the back end of the game. If they're more than sort of 1 or 2 tries out of it, they basically just roll over and present their belly for belly rub. So we'll go with the Cowboys 13 plus. Gin man of the match. I'm going to go with Val Holmes, first try scorer, possibly second and third as well.
And actually, the more you think about the Dragons, it doesn't look good. There was the Herald suggested today that apparently Bird and Sewer are trying to ring around and look for other options. And yeah, I could get very ugly very quickly.
Bird apparently called Danny straight away and said, I don't know what you're talking about, before the story did even come out. So I don't know what's happened there.
So we'll see what, yeah. Generally, that happens when there's smoke, there's fire, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck do we do with this game? The Raiders and the Eels are down at GIO. Raiders coming off 4 in a row now. And they get Albert Hopewade back with Savage dropping out of the side. Interesting. Jake Arthur comes in for Moses.
Savage was bad.
No, I didn't either. Actually give him a bit of pace. So that's whether I suggest actually thinking about it. It's the fear of Makasivo absolutely using him like a speed up for 80 minutes.
Possibly.
So I would suggest that's probably the thinking there. Arthur, as I said, comes in for Para. I have no fucking idea. I'm tipping Golden Point. I'm tempted to tip a draw because that's how mad this game could be. I'm tipping 32-30 one way or another.
Yep.
For the sake of a tip, I'm going to lean towards Parramatta just because Dylan Brown may have a repeat of last week and maybe more dominant, given he'll be the dominant half on the field with no Moses. I see him taking a lot of ball. But this is going to go both ways, as I said. Brown man of the match, Para 1 to 12, and first try scorer, Junior Bilo.
Yeah, I don't think Parramatta missed the same trick 2 weeks in a row. I expect them to really focus on the middle of the field, especially for the first 20 or 30 minutes in this game, because that's where the Raiders are going to be coming. That's their strength. It always has been since what 2000.
It is a great forward clash. Great forward clash.
It's been their strong suit for the last 3 or 4 years, and that's where they're going to be coming. So I expect them to really concentrate on that middle of the field, and as long as they can hold the Raiders early in this one, if Dylan Brown's anywhere near as good as he was last weekend, the weekend just gone, they could win 13 plus. But for mine, I'm going to have a man of the match. Sivo first try again. He's always the biggest threat in this Parramatta team if they can get the ball to him in a decent position. And Parramatta 1 to 12, just because of how good the Raiders have been with their commitment in the last 4 weeks. Wouldn't surprise me if they do get blown out at the end of the game, if Parramatta can contain the forward pack for long enough.
Sunday kicks off with the most Sunday of all Sunday games, the Knights and the Titans at McDonald Jones Stadium. I think it says Sunday afternoon football, 2:00 Sunday afternoon football like that. The Knights are back from Bali. Good on them. Kurt Mann's still out with his alleged abdominal injury. Phoenix Cross and DeHooker. Adam Elliott's back, which is good. The Eels get Cruz Liming back on the bench with Keno Keeney out. No AJ just yet, and he's not on an extended bench. Aaron Shoop and co are. What do you think here?
I feel kind of sorry for Shoop. I don't think he did anything wrong to be dropped, to be honest. But
apparently he played back row in reserve grade and was very, very good at it. So we'll see what that all means.
Yeah, right. Okay. I'm worried about a freshened up Knights and basically just a game of touch footy, to be honest. If the Titans do play touch footy with the Knights, it brings them into this game and really gives them an option to win. But if they play the way they did last week, which is the constant pressure through the middle of the field and getting David Fafita heavily involved, they should win, and they should do it pretty comfortably. I think with David Fafita being man of the match, if he can be involved like he was early in this one, and for the majority of the game, realistically, he can set up tries, score one himself, and Titans win 1-12. The more I think about it, I want to go 13 plus, but I am worried about a freshened up Knights and a bit of touch footy. So I'll stick to the 1-12, the Titans. David Fafita, man of the match, and I'm going to go with Newcastle to score the first try though with Marzu.
Yeah, Titans tend to love these last try wins games, and this is what we're going to get here. I can see again high scoring game. 50 plus on across both teams. I'm going to go with the Titans. Similar to you, I just think the Titans forward pack have found their rhythm with Mo, Tino, Fafita. Randall has got a bit of a better feel for leading around too, so I like what they've been producing there. I don't like what they've been producing in the edge defense, and that's where Marzu and Bradman Best and co are going to come into this game. Just as a point of difference, I sort of agree with what you said, but as a point of difference, I'm going to give man of the match to Foran again, just because he'll be one inside for Fafita, and you said Fafita. First try scorer, Khan Pereira. But I am scared. A piece of the puzzle for the Queensland Origin team that's missing is Kalen Ponga. I wonder if we see Origin Ponga start coming. There's a bit more space, a bit more, a couple of runs. An edge defense is not going to rush him as badly. We'll see what that produces, but we may not. He may not be with us anymore. But maybe the most interesting thing of the weekend, actually, seeing how he plays here.
Yeah, and I still really want to see him link up with Lachlan Miller. I think that could be a fantastic attacking assault on both sides of the field if they were to start working together. But they seem to be purposefully going out of the way not to be involved in each other's work. So
yeah, we'll see what it produces. It actually, the more I think about it, is very interesting. But I'll keep that one up my sleeve. What's also interesting, we've got double bounce back factor here. Can either of these teams or both these teams bounce back? At 4 Pines Park, I believe the Seagulls have a decent record over the Sharks.
The Sharks have beaten them twice in about 10 years, I think.
Yeah,
got a very similar record to what they produced against Canberra, which is they never beat. So
yeah. Well, can they beat them here with Schuster named on extended bench and not much else changes, really. That's it. He may come in. Parker and Cooler still the centers. Finucane started off the bench last week, but he's been named to start this week with expect McGuinness on the bench. What do you reckon?
Yeah, a little bit more impact with Finucane moving back into the middle of the field, especially in that first 20 minutes or so. Unless Manly's attack with their defence comes through in this game, which is what they've done the couple of times that they've won, I don't expect them to get anywhere near the Sharks, to be honest. But again, the Sharks were horrible last week, so I think they'll be embarrassed in what they put out last week up at Magic Round and the way that they were pretty comfortably dispatched by a team that you would consider wouldn't be their equal realistically if they're both playing at their best football. So I think there'll be a bit of embarrassment factor here, and the Sharks will really go out of their way to try and grind Manly into the core of the earth in this game. Nico Mum's been released this week. He's come to live with him, so hopefully that might be a bit of a burden that he may have carried into last week's game with the court case and all the rest of it. So may free him up a little bit this week. Who knows? But generally, when the Sharks win, Nico gets man of the match, and I am expecting Niokora to have a really good game up against Kelma Tuolangi, who seems allergic to making one-on-one tackles against his opposition. So if you can get Niokora one-on-one with Tuolangi, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a try at least, probably a double.
I'm going to tip the Sharks. Scared a little bit because I'm scared of well, first of all, them having to get to Manly and play there, but also the fact that I just think that if we're going to see that physical Sea Eagles pack, this might be the pack they pick out to really try and hammer and belt absolutely. Try and belt out of the game.
Small forward pack.
But I'm thinking I'm thinking the drier conditions, we see the crisper backline move from the Sharks, and the edge defense has been diabolical at times for the Sea Eagles. So I think they run a mark. Talakai, big game last week. I think he backs up again here and gets a try or two. So I'm going to give him the first one. And as you said, realistically, he might be outstanding, but Nico's going to be at the centerpiece of it all. Looking forward to it, though, because just different setup, dry track, very interesting. Have we got we're going to get our punters disaster class. We'll keep this short because we both did fuck all last week, didn't we?
Yeah, we both lost another 50, which just continually adds to the 50 we seem to lose every single week. So
this is really a ringing endorsement here. We're coming last in tipping and can't
find you any money either. So yeah, good luck with that. I'm minus $172.50. 11 weeks into this year. Daggy's minus 360. We both did only miss by one leg this week with the Sharks, which a lot of people would have had in their bets, no matter who you are, I would imagine. But I've gone with three teams I think are better than what they produced last week and maybe a little bit embarrassed. I'm going to go with three upsets in the Storm. I don't think the Storm's an upset. I think they're favourite, but realistically on form, they are an upset. Storm, Roosters, Parramatta, $20 gives you $10.50. Sharks and Titans, 1 to 12 on a Sunday double. That'll get you $9.30. I'm going to have $20 on that. And in the Bulldogs Warriors game, we're going to go both hookers to score at any time. Get you $20.25. $10 on that.
I'm going to go throw out some same game multis here. I'm going to go $20 on Herbie and Jordan Ricky, both to score down south. That's $11 there. I'm going to go in a Newcastle game. I think there's going to be plenty of points for Feeder, Khan Pereira and Marzu anytime. $20 on that. That's $7.50. And two big boppers getting over the line in the Canberra Eels game. I can see a lot of runs being targeted under the posts, and they may come up both ways. You're getting $81 for Papai and Bolo, both to score. That's worth $5 if you're so inclined. I'm having 10 on it for the record here. Beautiful.
You said 10.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. What's got you frothing?
Sunday masterclass, back rower masterclass. I think David Vito will absolutely tear Newcastle another orifice and cause all sorts of problems out wide for Newcastle. And I can see him being close to the best player on the field. And then you go to the Sharks and Manly game. Definitely hyped up for Niokora to put a masterclass on Tuolangi, but you could also add Olakawatu to that as well, as I'm pretty sure he's running at Matt Moylan. So he could absolutely cause all sorts of devastation on that side of the field as well.
Yeah, take them into account for your respected
try doubles anytime,
try doubles and whatnot. We haven't discussed this, but I was thinking the same way. I'm excited for Sunday Arvo. I think all four teams could be suited by dry daytime footy.
Yep.
And I want to see if Sharks can bounce back. And as I said, I'm sort of a bit excited to see if Ponga can find some of his best, because heading into Origin from a Queensland point of view, it's when they tend to find their best about now. And we haven't seen it for a while. I wouldn't mind at least getting a sniff of what Newcastle can offer. They've been pretty entertaining for the first part of the year. Yeah, so, yeah, definitely interested to see that. And a little bit the same and a little bit scared of what the South might do during the day as well on a dry track. But I assume it's dry in Sydney, to be honest.
Let's hope it's just dry for every game.
I think there's rain. You know, I've said that, and I'm pretty sure it's going to piss down Saturday, Arvo.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's been Footy and Frothy's Barn. Good job, mate.
Thank you, mate. And you.
Thanks for listening. We will be back next Tuesday night from the Grey Gums Hotel to talk about what happened and where we got it all wrong. Take care, guys.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Good night.